Okay, here we go. This is going to be hopefully the final on the 129X Hammarlund restoration, electrical restoration. I still have the case to do. I still have some other painting and stuff to do on it, but I want to get this up. You can see I've changed all the caps throughout the radio. Everything's been changed. There are cases where I removed everything and went directly to the terminal. There are other places, like up in here, where I use the pigtail. I don't do J-hooking a lot. What I do is I wrap the wire around a little jeweler's screwdriver, slide it on, crimp it down, and then solder it. Like I said, other places, I remove the solder. It just depends on where I was, what I was doing, and what I did or did not worry about disturbing, okay? Sometimes these sockets, if you put too much stress on them, they're going to break. So I was very careful about where I was working, how much had to come off before I went through and replaced the components. So where I'm at now is tuning. Unfortunately, I had some problems. I didn't get a chance to record the first part, which is the IF, the 455. And in these instructions, it tells you to do a visual. So a visual at 455, normally, let me get my little machine here. This is the only thing I have that'll do a sweep at 455. So that's what I used. It's the RCA something 50B, WR50B, I think it's called. Before I did that, and before I'm going to do this, what I did was I went into the instructions, and it'll tell you A1, A1 and 2, A3 and 4, A5. But unless all I had was the manual, okay, that came with it, unless you have a Sam's PhotoFact, this is a copy, that's why it's poor, a poor copy. But you can see all of the control points, if I get you in focus there, all the control points are labeled, okay? Without that, I would have had a big problem, and you can't see it probably. What I did was I wrote on the can so I'd know what I was turning, okay? I didn't want to make mistakes. The same thing with identifying. There are 6 bands that you have to tune on this, okay? I identified them here. Here's the alignment instructions for all 6 bands. There's a lot there. Each band is done individually with these controls, okay? It's either a coil, well, there's a coil and a mica cap that you have to adjust. All right, so there's no numbering on any of these. And there's no numbering in here either. In the manual, kind of tells you, but it doesn't tell you which ones to adjust. So again, without the Sam's PhotoFact, I would have had some issues trying to figure out what to do. Once I identified them on here, I went in and I identified them on here. Now I have to be careful. The power is on this. It had to warm up. But this is important to go through. Yeah, you can hear it's working. That was A13. That's the antenna. All right. So it's important to make sure that you've identified the correct controls before you start doing this, because if you don't, you're going to have problems, you're going to make mistakes. I'm not going to go through each step because this is probably going to take forever to do. Not sure how far it's out. All right, so the first step is you connect. Let me show you at the top of the page here. I made this in 2 parts and blew it up so I could actually see it. At the top of the page is a dummy antenna. So you have to feed the signal through a 200 picofarad capacitor. Microfarad is a picofarad capacitor, okay, which I have here. And for this, it's being fed into the signal generator, which is warming up, okay. The low side goes to the chassis, right here. Low side to the chassis. High side goes to the antenna input. You have to be on the right band. It's 1.25. Signal generator frequency, it's still warming up a little bit. I want to make sure that it's as close as I can get it. Okay, 1.25. The radio dial, I don't have set on 1.25 yet. And you got to have these little windows in order to do this. I haven't painted the scutcheon yet, so... And yes, you have to go up and down. 600 to 1250. I need a little speed handle on this thing. Oh, boy, I'll tell you, that's pretty close. But it tells you to monitor it and adjust for... I got the phone plugged in because it's going to lose power if I don't. I use an AC voltmeter. Why do I do that? Because I have more control. This is 100 millivolts, 300 millivolts. The average VTVM doesn't give you that fine of a reading. So okay, also this AVC and BFO have to be in the manual position. It doesn't want the AVC reducing your signal. And you can see, I'm looking straight down, it's not correct. And if I come back over here to the meter, get this out of the way. Sorry, guys. Get this out of the way. So if here's the peak on the meter. That's definitely off. So what I have to do is set this on 125. Okay. And I use my insulated stick so that I'm not injecting anything into the signal. Okay. I'm going to pause you guys for a minute and now get you on the stand so you have an idea what I'm doing. I'm going to look at the meter so that you can see what's going on. But I'm going to pause you for a minute to get you on the stand. Okay, so I kind of got everything in focus here. I'll get a little bit more light. Maybe that'll help. Hopefully that's good. Now, the instructions say to adjust A10, A9 at 1.25. Well, it's not quite on 1.25. There we go, that's better. 1.24999. So now I have to adjust A9, which is A9. Boy, these things are very touchy. And I lose it all together. Ah, boy, here we go. I don't like this as a screwdriver. Not a lot of control over it. I have another fiber rod that I can use if it fits. Boy, these are very sensitive. Just barely breathe on this and it. That's pretty good. I don't think I'm gonna. I'm looking at the dial right now. Yeah, that's pretty close. Pretty close. So now what the instructions tell you, and you can't see it here, but it says to go to 600 kilohertz, 0.6 megacycles is what they use, but it's 600 kilohertz in the AM band. So we're going to switch this. We're going to readjust this. To 600. Yeah, this is touchy too. Okay, that's pretty close. Now I have to drop the dial on the radio down to 600. And that's low, that's off. All right. So now I have to adjust A10, which I've marked right here. It's the coil. You can see I go past. There's a lot of play in this. Okay. That's right on. Now I need to go back up to 1250. Ay, ay, ay. right on 1250. Readjust this. Imagine doing this in the factory. I'm sure they had equipment that was easier to operate. No, I don't even hear it at 1250. $12.50. It's off. Yeah. $12.50. Now I need to readjust A9. I can adjust that. Okay. Right on 1250. Now we go back down to the other end of the band again. Because now we have to check the low end. One affects the other. We go back to 600. Okay. Put a motor on this thing to drive it from one end of the band to the other. All right. Now A10 again. Peaked it at A10. All right, now we need to go back up to 1250, see what effect we had on that. And this is what you have to do. All right, back up to 1250, 1.2 megahertz, 1250 on the AM dial. And we are there. Okay, I'll turn this screeching down a little bit here. So now what we have to do is we have to go to, no more adjustment was necessary because I'm peaked on both ends of the band. Now I have to go to adjustment A11 at 1.25, okay? And adjust that for maximum. Let me just double check. Okay. Turn the volume back up. And again, if I hadn't had these marked, I wouldn't know which ones to use. So now, A11, A11 is down here. Oh, I hate these little micas. These are crazy sensitive. Well, this one's not as bad. And now we go to 600. Okay, go back down to 600. This has to be done on 6 bands. So it has to be done on all 6 bands. Now it says adjust A12. A12. For maximum. It's pretty much there. Again, I can, if it was down further, I'd see a little bit more movement. That's why I like using this. This is a Motorola AC voltmeter, and this is excellent for doing this tedious type of work because you can see more of a swing than if you're using here VTVMs. They have a 1.5 volt range. Well, if I put this on for was that 3 volts, you're not going to see a lot of movement. This is 1 volt. Okay, it's in the center. I can see it better. All right, we're all set. And then the last thing at 6 megahertz, 600 kilohertz on the AM band, is to just adjust A13, okay? So the way this is set up is this top part here is the oscillator. The second part down is the RF section, and then this is the antenna. So, no, in is dropping it. Okay, now it's starting to go down. It's out quite a bit from what it was originally. Yeah, I'm surprised. But then again, I changed a lot of things in here. I messed with the dial alignment because I took those dials off. Don't take the dials off. Leave them where they are when you're working on these. I think that's why a lot of these settings were off because I played around with it. So that's it. Now I'm done. Okay. I'm done with the AM band. Now I have to identify a 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 to do the next band up. I am not going to put all of this on camera. If you guys have questions, I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. But if I put all of this on camera, you're going to be hearing this for about 4 hours or 3 hours before going back and forth. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, this is the final on the electrical restoration, and the actual final will be after I get the faceplate scutcheon painted black and the case cleaned and painted. So thanks for being with me today, guys. I really appreciate it. Click like, leave some comments, ask some questions. And again, let's have some fun with radio. Take care. Hey, please click like and subscribe. I get a kick out of it and I enjoy responding to people. Take care.